Round 3, and we're in Sao Paulo. Akari Lopez on pole from P. Sierra and teammate Santino Milan. Then it's Leo in 4th, CC in 5th, followed by teammate Jonathan Sims and Oscar Folstad in 7th. Then QE starts 8th from Revo and Lewis Olsen. Then it's Daniel Bogdasarov down in 11th, Bastian Tan, T. Gabo in 13th, Cosmos 14th, Jack Carter 15th, Ocampo starts 16th, followed by Babinis Jr. and teammate Tommy. UK Ball down in 19th, followed by Pierre Gasly, Daf Sanchez, and Miguel de Souza. Well then, after the first 2 rounds, no returns. We're in the Sambadrome. Sao Paulo, Brazil hosts round 3. And we go green in Brazil. Very good start from Sierra off the line. Akari's decided to start this race on the hard tyres, and that's allowed Sierra to get a much better start off the line. He's up into the lead, and he's 3/10 of a second ahead. Leo trying to go around the outside of his teammate Swap. He swapped to the inside. Sims has found his way up into 4th position, possibly even 3rd. There goes Sims. Leo to the race lead. Leo Paolo Pinnacle leads this race, but Jonathan Sims right behind him here in Brazil. This is a brilliant racing, and it's only lap 1. We're further back, fighting for position, everyone squabbling for every single inch they can find, but Leo leads this race from P. Sierra, Jonathan Sims and Akari, your top 4. This is absolutely magnificent. Lewis Olsen in the number 20, up into 7th position. Cosmos getting a 5-second time penalty. 4 drivers starting on the hard compound of tyres. That's going to be very interesting later on to see how long these guys can go with their tyres. Leo in 2nd, trying to get back at Sierra, who's retaken the lead of the Prix. Revo further back, fighting with Tommy, trying to go around the outside of him. The Honda-powered drivers, as always, making up the rear of the field, unfortunately. Sierra's setting a fastest first sector of anybody, but Revo still looking to try and get himself ahead of Tommy as he's defending from Daniel Bogdasarov. Akari Lopez getting past Jonathan Sims there to make it an Aurelio Pinnacle 2-3, as there goes Milan ahead of Sims. 4th position, and he's still dropping down the order. Those hard tyres, they were not switched on enough at all. As you can see, tyres flashing. The tyre temperature is still flashing everywhere there. You can see just about. As you can see, Bastian Tan alongside Lewis Olsen fighting for 8th position. This is going to become 7th if CC doesn't let up. Sierra's having a fastest lap of the E3 that's under a minute long. This is one of the fastest tracks on the calendar. Only really 2 heavy braking points. Everywhere else, you can just lift, or better yet, just full throttle, like you can see here. Drivers technically can brake, but you can see on the steering wheel, these cars do have gears, and they only drop down to 6. 8 gears in these FEMC cars compared to the FG series, where it pretty much has the same transmission. Jack Carter further back with a 5-second time penalty for colliding with T. Gabo. And for Renault Edam today, if race 1 was great and race 2 was alright, this race is absolutely hell. They're 9th and 16th. And for this to be the race where, for the teams, of course, they will be receiving payouts once a lap 4 of 17, this is going to hinder them quite a bit. Sierra leading away from Leo and Milan as Akari's dropped to 4th, but on board with Revo as Lewis Olsen also dropping to 12th position, coming into the clutches of his own teammates here. And does Miguel try anything? Not quite. He covers off Cosmos, says further ahead. That's Revo looking for his opportunity to try and get past CC. Does he try it? Not quite, but he's still there. Olsen looked for a move, sends it up into 11th position. Does the Dragon Renault driver. Looks back again, trying to go round the outside of CC. Gets the inside line covered off quite well But now Miguel de Souza also fighting with the DS Automobile car ahead of him. Revo looking to the inside line. He could try and make a brilliant slingshot pass here, or he could come into the pits on lap 5 of 17. No one has come in yet. This is actually really brilliant racing. As you can see down the inside goes Revo into 11th. Baptist Jr. has decided to come into the pits. He's going to be the man to pull the trigger, as Revo still fighting with Lewis Olsen. These guys on the fringes of the top 10. Olsen still at the inside, not quite able to get past. But further ahead, Cici and Bogdasarov battling it away. Also with Vastien 10 acting as a little bit of a cork stopgap here, as Akari on the hard tyres. He's dropped down to 6th position, has your pole sitter. Jonathan Sims still in 4th position, and he's holding up Enoch Kiwi, meaning that the top 3 can all romp away. And Nissan Nismo can try and take a 1-3 finish, with P. Sierra taking his 2nd race win in a row. As Enoch Kiwi, here he comes, trying to get past the blue and yellow Sims Motorsport car. Many drivers have opted to come into the pits at the end of this lap. But there he goes, up into 2nd position goes Enoch Kiwi, with 11 laps still to run here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. But there he comes, Akari Lopez steaming down the inside to take 2nd position in that black and red Pinnacle car. And Sierra's soft tyres, just pointing this out now, absolutely shot. No way he's doing any more laps on those. Enoch Kiwi looks to the inside of Akari Lopez as well, still not able to make any moves, but Sims looking to try and get past him too. This is still Jonathan Sims potentially going for a first race win, but it won't be a race win won on pure pace. It'll be one on strategy, and that's probably how he's gonna have to handle that at this point. He's going to have to live with the fact that the only way he can win this race is through strategy. Sierra comes into the pits to get off of those softs, so it'll be Akari Lopez leading the way from Enoch Kiwi, and Jonathan Sims. Following them will be Daniel Bogdasarov and Cosmos, the top 5. T. Gabo is 6th. And those mediums not looking as if they're at their best, but Bogdasarov getting up to the back of this little fight for the lead. Enoch Kiwi looks to the inside line, went in very deep there. Is Sims looking for a way to get through on the 2 drivers in front of him, almost hitting the back of the Mahindra man, but he's still not close enough. The top 3 still just at holding station. You can see Enoch Kiwi setting it down on the inside, but still not quite close enough to make the move. But he's still oh so close to the back, under a half of a tenth of a second behind, and Akari still under half a second away, as Sims, Jonathan Sims, looks to the inside, and Jonathan Sims is into the lead using attack charge. He's got attack mode heading into the first chicane. Yui and Bogdasarov pit. The gap between first and second is 1.006 seconds, as Jonathan Sims has ripped the race lead away from the season 15 champion with only 9 more laps left to run. CC setting up fastest 3rd second of anyone. Sims is looking to try and take home his team's first ever race victory, as Dav Sanchez comes in for his 2nd stop of this race. These are tyres that the top 3 are all on. Could see them win this race. It's all up to Akari and Sims right now, because Cosmos is not just 2 seconds off the back, but he's got a 5-second time penalty. And what of Sebastian Ocampo, the man currently in 6th position? He's trying to defend from Leo, but of course, underpowered Andretti Honda car. Heavily underpowered. And one of the top guys, I think, no, they're staying out. They're still staying out on lap 9 of 17. Bogdasarov fastest 2nd sector. Gabo comes in for his first stop, so he's extended quite a ways past the medium's peak performance. Ocampo, however, threw that up into 6th position. I'm not so sure on Ocampo's performance so far today. He needs a lot more than what he's getting out of that car. Revo currently up in 10th position, still wanting to point out how champions are doing. For example, Falstad, after that absolute switch of luck last time out, He's currently in 14th position ahead of countryman Lewis Olsen. As you can see, Falstad looking to the inside line, getting himself ahead of Falstad, not Curie rather, not himself. How do you overtake yourself? Bogdasarov rather ahead of Falstad, looking to try and get past the season 16-17 champion of Revo. But Akari Lopez not really trying to make any moves. 7 laps left to run, and the hard tire runners are still out there on their hards. Bogdasarov is ahead of Revo, but look at that. That's Anot Kiri on board with him, trying to get himself up into 10th. Can he do that? He's up into 12th. He needs to stay there. He'll take 11th away from Babinus Jr. Surely, but he'll need to get past Bogdasarov to make so many positions work in a single sector of a track. Is absolutely magnificent, but can he do it? It's a question. He's looking, and he's looked too far. It's just not worked out for him. As it's also not worked out for Daf Sanchez. I wonder, has he had tire issues or anything? Because he's way off the back of the pack. Even with him making a second stop, just doesn't seem right. But P. Sierra looking to try and get past Cosmos, and Mahindra Man hustling him, still hustling him to the outside, but he's got superior pace in his tires, and Cosmos having to settle and slip back into the slipstream in 4th position. As into the pits has come Akari Lopez and Jonathan Sims. They're going on to soft tires. And Sims Motorsport had to wait. They had to wait and let past Akari. Otherwise, they might have gotten a penalty for an unsafe release. And that rarely happens in this championship because the teams are so well mannered. So they've come out of the pits. They are now 18th and 19th. But they likely will not pit again for the rest of this race. These are the tyres that Lopez and Sims will finish this race on. And if it is like that, they are shoo-ins for the race win. But Lopez 3 seconds ahead of Jonathan Sims on board with Akari Lopez, closing in on Jack Carter, making sure to try and make the pass as cleanly as possible, looks to the outside line, tries to run it wide, he'll take the inside. Oh, there was contact there for sure, didn't show up on any of our timing screens with 7 to go. Cosmos comes in, of course with that 5-second time penalty, doesn't have to serve in the pit. Milan's in for his second stop. Santino Milan has come in for his second stop, and this confirms it. The hot tire runners are going to gain so much time here. Ocampo has come into the pits. Where is Cosmos going to come out? He's come out behind Jonathan Sims. He's going to come out behind Pierre Gasly as well. So that's not been quite the game they would have wanted. We're going to go on board with Akari Lopez, who gets past Del D'Souza quite handily there. Quite easily, in fact. And now he's chasing after the Season 16 champion. Revo, the man who took the championship after Akari, and basically put the sport on lock until the final 3 rounds of Season 18, where it just looked like he lost the keys to the championship holder. UK Bulls coming into the pits and are out in last position. The Season 10 champion, well, to say he's struggling is quite the overstatement. Drivers coming into the pits a lot more now. CC now leads the race as Revo comes in for his second stop. Akari is going to jump up here. Where to? 6th position. He's following Oscar Falstad, the reigning World Drivers' Champion, who won this time last season in Sao Paulo. They've all got attack mode. Bogdasarov to P2 ahead of Bastian Tan. And on board with the number 22 for GS McLaren TGR. He's got some very, very worn medium tyres on his car. The risk of sliding very low as Falstad has been overtaken by Akari, who is charging through the field. Sims also doing his best to try and charge through the field as well, but he needs, if he's to win his first race today, he needs to be a lot more than just 7th right now. Sure, 5 drivers in front of him are going to pit. Almost definitely, but one of them will not. His teammate Cici comes across the line to start lap 14 of 17. 3 laps to go. Bastian Tan and Daniel Bogdasarov all into the pits. The many trials of Jonathan Sims that he has been through. The many times he's finished in second, knowing that he could have won. Well, is that only actually had 2 second place finishes, but both times they were so close. He's gonna go past Volstad quite handily down the straight to take 4th position as he now hunts down both T-Gabo and Akari. He knows that if he comes up to his teammate, he'll get past him quite easily. Even then, he's probably quite aware that his mediums will not make it to the end of this race, will CC's. Akari Lopez currently in 2nd, and he's chasing down race leader CC, but Jonathan Sims, who's still going for that first race win. It's his sophomore season, his team's sophomore season, and they are still going for another title. Volstad's dropped to 6th position as CC does pit. Gabo's into the pits. We've got 2 more laps of racing with 3 seconds the gap between 1st and 2nd. Can Sims close the gap as Leo sets a new fastest lap of a 58.4. Gasly coming into the pits to drop away from 12th position. And what can Sims do from here? He's 3 seconds off of Akari Lopez, the man who started this race from pole and is only leading this race due to some supreme strategy. But looking to Akari Lopez, the man who, before his home race in season 14, before the first ever Manila E3, had not won any races, had barely even sniffed the podium, won that race, won the following year's championship, and became a regular race-winning favourite. On the penultimate lap of this race, he and Aurelio Pinnacle are looking to try and get another race win as Sims has been overtaken by PCR. Jonathan Sims' dream of another opportunity of winning a race once again stripped out of his hands, and this time by the factory Nissan Nismo team. He's still got chances to try and take the lead away, but he's got Leo White on him, barking like a dog to try and take the 3rd position. Looks to the inside, looks to the outside, still darting around the yellow and blue Sims Motorsport car, and I don't think Sims has enough left in the tank to hold on to that 3rd position. He's doing all he can. It's going to be a brilliant sprint to the last lap as Miguel de Souza getting a track limits warning. Here comes Leo. There goes Leo to P3. Sims unfortunately has to drop to 4th as we're on to the final lap of this E3. Leo is now hustling P Sierra to try and get himself and his team another 1-2 finish. But can Leo and Akari manage that? Well, Akari's leading this race handily, 3 seconds ahead. Leo needs to gain 9/10 of a second. The gap between 2nd and 3rd. But for the man who is leading this race, for the man who started on pole, he's a formerly Monoposte champion, the 2nd to come out of the Philippines. He won season 15's main and post-seasons, as Leo still not quite close enough to get past Sierra. His teammate Akari Lopez will be welcomed back onto the top step of the podium, and to win by 2 seconds here in Brazil, here he comes, the number 10. Akari Lopez wins the Sao Paulo E3 from P Sierra, and Leo, who sets a new fastest lap of 8.449. As Volstad fighting with Ocampo gets himself up into 15th. CC steals the fastest lap of 57.400. And that is some of the best racing we've seen all day. Yellow's in the 1st sector because coming across the line, Ravo hit the wall. 2 drivers got 5-second time penalties in this race, those being Cosmos and Jack Carter. On board with Daf Sanchez as he's now rounding the final bank turn. I doubt he's going to be able to try and take a fast lap, but could he? Comes across the line. Yeah. And this is the podium then. Akari Lopez wins in Brazil from P Sierra and Leo. Aurelio Pinnacle taking home a 1-3 today. Then it's Jonathan Sims wondering if he could have finished 2nd if his tires just held up a little bit more. Santino Milan, Cosmos, CC, Enoch Huey, Daniel Botasarov, T. Gallo, your point scorers, with your non-scorers being Lewis Olsen, Bastian Tan, Revo, Folstad, Ocampo, Miguel de Souza, Tommy, Babinus Jr., Carter, Cable, Gasly, and Sanchez. In the driver's standings, Sierra leading the way from Akari Lopez and Daniel Baltasar. Then it's Jonathan Sims and Huey, Leo, Santino Milan, Revo in 8th. Then it's T. Gabo, Arnett Babinus Jr., Cosmos, CC, Folstad, Cable, Ocampo, Olsen, Sanchez, Gasly, and Carter, with your non-point scorers being Bastian Tan, Miguel de Souza, and Tommy. In the constructors' standings, heading into the next round of the championship in Mexico, Nissan Nismo lead the way from Aurelio Pinnacle and Renault Edams. Then it's Sims Motorsport Nissan tied with Aurelio Mahindra. DS Automobiles is 6th from DS Venturi and Born Honda. Then it's a tie for 9th between DS McLaren TGR and Andretti Honda, with Dragon Renault making up the back. We'll see you guys next time then, when the Formula E Monoposto Championship returns.